My brainstorm was mainly for my first draft, however, it highlighted the main emotions and scenes I was trying to achieve within both ideas. I wanted to find different sides I would approach this ad, however, I was eventually tied into an action thriller ad as I believe it had the potential to flash grab spectators' attention. The second plan below is what I did in class. I laid out the Game of Thrones scene I had thought of when I cancelled my first idea and based my animation story behind it. I wanted to show Astro has its own persona and that comes up with creative jokes to keep you entertained in case you get unmotivated or bored at home. My first impressions on this brief was confused as I thought storyboarding was just the planning bit but for a film advert, but that wasn't the case. I wanted to improve on a new skill, so I decided to animate. I wanted to animate my work as it was going to give a more realistic version of how it played out in my head. And I wanted to directly challenge myself with learning new skills. In my opinion, I wish the brief was more complex instead of 8 storyboard, but it doesn't give me enough creative room to explore in deeper detail. The audience. Astro's audience has to be within the age range of 18 to 24, as I want to create an ad that is within the popular series Game of Thrones, and the age range is around who watches that series is around there. I believe this is to be better than my previous idea because within the ad I represented Astro in front of many familiar faces to the series, such as Jon Snow, Daenerys Targaryen, and Euron Greyjoy. Including celebrities gives me a chance to snatch grab the user's attention as they may recognize them straight away. When Astro falls out the sky and has the scream by Edvard Munch digitally televised on his screen, which brings a comedic standpoint in an animation, which gives me some time to build on Astro as a character. Also, many spectators realize they have seen and can relate to Astro's feelings when he fell off the dragon, as many people have reached such pinnacles in their life and fallen off due to certain things that bring them down. Astro gambling as well is a funny scenario as he can mathematically crack the game like an x-ray, like cards. As he got x-ray vision, he can see through all the cards and bet. And even without the cheating, he can do all the odds perfectly. He bets all knowing the odds in favour by throwing the chip in at Jon Snow and Euron Greyjoy as if he's a mobster towering them with knowledge. This displays he's a very good scene of risk management, always identified the wrongs and trying to do them right. I needed to keep Astro in the spotlight in front of these celebrities, as it was hard to keep the spotlight on Astro for so long due to these big celebrities on camera, each of them with a bigger story than the other. He rides along Jon and Daenerys Targaryen as if he's worthy of flying a dragon, showing his confidence in himself. Daenerys represents the power of a strong woman with political power, inspiring for many females who can aspire to act as her cunning self. Jon Snow is a bastard and has no respect at the beginning, but on the series he became the most respectful by the end. He is an inspiration for people who have been bullied and always been treated very different from the rest of their family and still remain good and honourable. Many can be inspired by Jon due to his determination and sense of justice. Euron Greyjoy's last character I wanted to introduce the spectators to allow us to respect his sense of adventure, as he is a mercenary pirate with a good sense of humour, but has an underlying evil layer to him which many can relate to, having especially when they have been doing wrong. After watching the Astro ad, I wanted to base mine around the same dynamic as I thought they portrayed it well. My idea in the beginning was bland and very Amazon-like ad, but I felt like I didn't intrigue the crowd, so I wanted to create a more fast-flowing story type which people feel like they could really connect to on a level, as it would perceive to a larger audience and connect with more than just a normal bland corporation ad that looks very formal with no kind of creativity behind it, kind of focused on business more than creativity, it looks like. My brainstorms in class helped me tailor my story, as it helped me go forward into creating an animation. As before, I was going to create a very boring, rough plan of just a normal day of a person coming home from work, seeing Astro and everything, but I felt like it wasn't enough and it should be more creative. This was my first draft storyboard, in which it was very bland and not what I wanted to show as a final product, but as a process to show, I came out with my final outcome. It involved a lot of realism of how helpful Astro could be effectively in the household, but it didn't really appeal to the age range, as the first and third scene where he uses his camera to find his keys, and the other stuff for work is could not relate to some 18-year-olds and 24-year-olds who may not have a job or be unemployed. The 8 storyboards here are my animation. I really enjoyed doing this. It was a very interesting time for me, as I believe it was a really pinnacle in my art career in Kingston, as I taught myself a new skill just with the help of my friend Michael. This was a really key thing, as it gave me the confidence to boost forward and carry on. My first take was to create an escape room, like Jigsaw, where with the influence of Jigsaw. I really was based on this idea of escape room, as I really wanted to play with the spectators and the people in the game's head. I wanted to make them feel alone. I wanted to make them feel crazy. The whole point was to make them feel madness and mundane. I wanted to trick them to play them under my sleeve and have them under my control. I want it to be a really fun project, as I feel like you'll find some people may do different actions to get away and get their freedom. They might leave friends behind. They might do different stuff that you wouldn't have guessed from that person. It's all about the human instincts, and I wanted to show how mentally we are alone if in the escape room itself. This is my visual board. It was pretty basic. I did this in class. I wanted to really get an idea how I could really play along. I wanted to actually have a simulation in there of like a war, and where I would have the spectators run up and the sergeant would give them guns, and they'd be running against with SFX like wind and gun shells, and like so it'd give them like the realistic like effect that what people would do for their country, and they don't even realize when they must feel upset over the small things that some people have to go through, stuff like that, just for them to worry about the small things. It's quite funny. Yeah, I really had a basic idea of escape your own. It was really bad, but I had escape your own way out, and then had it like the sign. I don't know, it was pretty weird. I just kind of had like a cool idea to play on that. I used these artists: Alec Monopoly, Bradley Theodore, Jose Mendez, and Joseph Ducree, and Trevor Henderson. As Trevor Henderson created Siren Head, Jose Ducree would point at different clues inside the Mozilla Hub's exhibition, which would help the spectators with like a funny stern face that would kind of give the vibe of madness and mundane. Chucky, he's crazy. He's got his gun posted, but that was created by Jose Mendez. It was a very unknown artist. I really enjoyed this, to be honest. Really one of my favorite pieces, as I wanted to take the people off guard, as if they're in VR and they walk into Chucky like that, they might get a little jump, as the picture is pretty big on the wall if you're walking past. Bradley Theodore was used, as I wanted to use his skulls, like the color, to show his emotions and stuff. And I wanted to show how corrupt America is through Alec Monopoly cross. These are my drafts, pretty simple. I kind of wanted to get an idea of how I wanted to go about with this. Kind of have like a disco vibe, but kind of be like having shock. And I don't know, I just wanted to play with the idea of just being alone and being secluded away. This is my final drafts, my 2 final drafts I really enjoyed. Yeah, it was really cool. I had to walk my text around the corridor to show you like maybe the text was like showing you the only way out was down the corridor. The bleeding red was to show like it was your time's running out, And on the other one, the tea table, I wanted to see everyone walking past and like let the dolls stare them down as if they were I don't know, just like just scary from a scary film like Annabelle. Yeah, really interesting. I used the key as well, hanging from the O to show it was actually part of another. It's in Mozilla Hubs. The quest, one of them is to shoot the arrow against the target, and the key drops. That's the same key. Using that, I kind of wanted to show how I could intertwine both. My Mozilla Hubs was really fun. I really enjoyed this with using my creativity to create my own exhibition that I've always wanted to create. Just a really fun thing in general. Kind of had all the artworks posted around. It looks really colourful. Really enjoy it. You should go inside and enjoy it yourself. Yeah, it was I think I did really well. This was like a hide and seek area. This is where the crew is pointing at the clues, and like where he's surprised that you found the teddy bear. That's all the circles on the table is from like is where you have to put the teddy bears to unlock the main door behind the door. The key is in the middle and it goes red light or green light when the cage opens, so you can get the key and escape. These are my final posters, and this is on a board. Very interesting. I really enjoyed this, and I hope to do something like this again. Nike beat the Londoner. Nike is specialised in footwear apparel equipment accessories to a worldwide audience. They also they collab with very well-known names like Cristiano Ronaldo, Wayne Rooney, Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and many connections to these sports that celebrities are eager to try see and try buy their stuff, as these guys are a very well-known incorporated brand. My first impressions was to create an ad following the football, as I was a Chelsea fan. I wanted to make Arsenal look bad, and in that I wanted the spectators to get involved in a challenge where Emile Smith Rowe dribbles through all these players and misses his shot, but when the Chelsea player dribbles through all his players and get past to his teammate and gets a volley, he scores top bins. It's like but it's different when Emile does it. Nike spend 3.75 billion on advertising globally. I chose Sancho in my work as I thought he was a really pioneer for the area, and I chose the music scene as OFB, as the music scene over there is crazy, and the Harlem Spartans. Sorry, no, this is in Kennington, so we're talking about Harlem Spartans. These guys are very inspirational to many of the youths to be themselves. However, they convulse in crime, which I don't agree with. I don't really like their music either. It's pretty much the same as everything. They influence another Australian drill group called 1-4. In Islington, you have Smith Rowe, who's been a pioneer for the youth, but has grown up in the south side like Sancho. He has become a very recognisable player in the football sport and Premier League, as he was honestly sensational in the last couple of years, played very well as a young fire, and done really well for his club. I chose to choose OFB in this area as they are from Tottenham, and there was a Tottenham-Arsenal rivalry. OFB have done really a lot for their area, and they have stopped criminals going into gangs. Instead of gangs, they want to put them into music, which I guess is good for the people to stop. Mason Mount was also is my favourite. I met him in real life. He is honestly amazing. His determination and motivation is like Frank Lampard's. Frank Lampard even gave him the captain badge for a game, as he was on his last game before he got sacked, to show his appreciation for him. He's a young, fine Chelsea squad and held them up when everything was down. My first draft was pretty. I don't really like it, but it is what it is. I was trying to see what I could do with this and have a really nice front cover, but I found that I could do really much better work on it. So with the Arsenal, I tried to make an animation with the cannon, try to spin the cannon and shoot a cannonball in which someone would volley the ball. The cannon is also very recognisable cannon from the war. So it also bring that vintage kind of English history. The animation was fun. I kind of use the soldiers from back in the day who would really blow these cannons and strike the rope at the end, which would ignite the cannon. I thought this was really cool as it kind of showed the kind of like, I don't know, creativity that many people wouldn't really go into. Yeah, the interactive game is to volley it into the corner. So basically, not do what Emil did and miss. You do it like a Mason Mount and score. And this is the difference between their two volleys. Honestly, these guys are sensational, and Mason obviously scores, and Smith Rowe doesn't score. This is Mason Mount's. This is the one I did on Mason Mount. I really enjoyed this piece. I thought it was a really nice front cover. Almost looks like a FIFA 22 cover, which is pretty cool. I mean, it does say FIFA 22 on it, but that's because I had to get a perfect ball animation and make it look really, really cool, as FIFA is such a big thing in London. I also did his signature over the Nike sign, which incorporated his brand over it, and also beat the London and scratch marks and beaten up marks to really kind of bring the vibe. Also, I experimented with Sancho as well and came out with some really nice pieces with it. Really enjoyed my time creating this with Sancho. My final piece, it was Sancho. Nike beat the Londoner, was all dragged up and messy. I really enjoyed this. It was a really, really fun time to create these, as I love messing around and creating different backgrounds that kind of resonate with me. Like, it has to look a certain way for me to really enjoy it. So yeah, thank you for listening.